The White House brags about the fact that they are saving you 16 whole cents on your Independence Day celebration. Isn't that grand? 16 whole cents. Look at all that money that they're saving you. So we will talk just a bit about that. In other news, the Supreme Court has granted states' rights leeway in making their own election laws as per the Constitution. So we'll go over a little bit of that. The January 6th Commission has come to fruition, and surprise, surprise, Liz Cheney's going to be sitting on it, so we'll go over that in just a bit. And the House Plant Chief goes and visits Miami to come and tell us how climate change was what destroyed that building. It's going to be all this and more. Hey, 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 do you trust the plan yet? I'm Jay Edgar, and this is Contemporary. Well, it's here. It's almost the 4th of July. We're going to celebrate independence and freedom from a tyrannical government that wants nothing but to take all of our resources away and leave us with a pittance in order to survive. Oh, wait, no, we're still there. But regardless, we'll be celebrating our independence and the birth of our nation from the island of Britain. So that's a good thing as well. And really, honestly, we are going to take some time over the weekend and celebrate the fact that, yes, even though we have moved into a little bit of an oppressive government structure, we do still have one of the freest markets and the freest nations in the country with unalienable rights that we have dedicated to ourselves in our Constitution. The politicians may laugh at them, but we do still recognize the rights that we have. So absolutely, everybody still go out and celebrate this weekend. It's not so bad, and we still have the ability to try to change it. We just need to make a little bit more informed decision than some of us have been making in the past 4 years. But hey, we could sit here and dwell on the 4th of July forever, but we've got some news to get to here today. Plus, we got some live chat to get here today as well, and Got all your names from the past week written down in the notebook as well, because today is going to be the day that I sit down and say a special thank you to everybody who chatted in the live chat throughout the week. Definitely looking forward to that. Always look forward to seeing you guys and thanking you guys. That is my favorite part of the week. So if you are just lurking today, or you see people are just lurking, you see the view count doesn't seem to match the number of people chatting, make the reminder and let people know that yes, they need to chat in the live chat, because then I will say thank you to them at the end of the show. And you guys, I think most of you at this point of the show are mods anyway, so absolutely help the people out as well. But before we get into the finance and the big news of the day, make sure you go over and check out my friends, The Generational Gap, The R-Rated Conservative, The Freckles and Brit Show, The Breakdown with Birkenhoff, and The Daily Ignoramus. Go check out all those shows and keep your eyes peeled for a new project that could be coming up in the works here in the near future. I'm going to be making a purchase over the weekend. It's still going to be a lot of development going, and my graphic designer is in the process of moving right now too, so yeah, she's not going to be able to get with me for a while, but this has been a long time coming. I should have done this months ago, but we're going to sit down and do this, and we're going to do this right. So pay attention. All of the creators I mentioned are going to be a part of this upcoming project, so definitely pay attention to them as well. Go hang out with them. They're great people, and help me support great creators. Looking in at your finance for the morning. Let's get the live chat up here, just in case maybe like my microphone's dead and none of you can hear me or something. All right, let's go and check this out here on the Dow to start off with. The Dow was up again, 131.02. So I don't know, is the Dow trading today? Well, I guess we'll find out when we look into IBD, but it's either going to be closed today or Monday for observance of the holidays, so that's going to be something to watch as we go through. But as of right now, today is starting off at 34,633.53. That is 131.02 points up, or 0.38% throughout the day yesterday. So we'll talk a bit about what happened there. On the Bitcoin had a slight slide again, down to 33,126 US dollars even. It's back on sale, so if you want to get some Bitcoin, now is going to be the time. Go and check that out. All right, on your Gas Buddy. Gas Buddy says 274 is going to be your low price leader in Madison, and I'm probably going to anticipate that some of the prices are going to go down over the next couple days in Madison, due to Madison trying to get people to stop in off the highway and spend their money on other junk while they're passing through, or just stopping in Madison and watching the fireworks from one of their wonderful parks throughout the city. But yes, 274 is your low price. That is on Cottage Grove Road, about Middle Madison. Otherwise, we're seeing 279s, 284s, 285 here. Otherwise, a couple of 289s across the area. Remember, this does not necessarily reflect your particular gas prices, but they are gas prices that are around the area as well. So adjust accordingly for your regular gas prices. Looking in at IBD for the morning. Dow Jones Futures market rally awaits jobs report, Tesla deliveries, SPCE stock rockets, Shopify leads 5 stocks with new buy points, from Ed Carson. Dow Jones Futures edged higher Friday morning along with S&P 500 futures and NASDAQ futures. The June jobs report looms large for the stock market rally on Friday. Investors also remain on lookout for Tesla deliveries following strong results from NIO and XPeng Motors and now Li Auto. Meanwhile, Virgin Galactic skyrocketed higher overnight after announcing that billionaire founder Richard Branson will join a July 11th flight into space. Ooh, that's interesting news. And that's coming up right up here in the near future. So I guess we're going to see Virgin Galactic go into space within the next couple weeks. That's 9 days away? Yeah. So we'll see what happens there. Shopify, PayPal, CrowdStrike, Zscaler, and Snapchat parent Snap are carving out new buy points at close to highs after already flashing buy signals lower in the base. This could offer a place to start or add to a position in these top names. The stock market rally was higher across the board, at least on the major indices, fueled by energy stocks. The S&P 500 led the way, hitting fresh highs. The NASDAQ erased intraday losses to close slightly higher, yet that masked some notable losses or reversals among mini growth stocks, notably hot China stocks such as UP Fintech, or Tiger, or IPOs from the past years, such as Palantir. On the jobs report, economists expect the June job reports to show payrolls up by 675,000. Following a gain of 599,000 in May, the jobless rate should dip to 5.7%. I'm curious to see where that actually goes because they have missed every month since this administration took power. And last month it was by 100,000 jobs. Employers are raising wages sharply but are still struggling to fill open positions. One question is whether more Americans were motivated to find work, as many states said they would stop extra jobless benefits as of July 1st. Initial jobless claims fell to a pandemic-era low of 364,000 this week, ended June 26th, the Labor Department reported on Thursday. Meanwhile, SPCE stock soared overnight after Virgin Galactic said late Thursday that it would fly Richard Branson on the first fully crewed flight of its Spaceship Two spaceplane on July 11th. That's 9 days ahead of the fellow billionaire Jeff Bezos' planned Blue Origin flight. SPCE stock leapt 28% before Friday's open. Tesla stock, Snap, and PayPal are on the IBD leaderboard. Snap stocks and NEO are on Swing Trader. PayPal stock is on the IBD long-term leaders. CrowdStrike stock and Zscaler are on the IBD 50. Dow Jones futures were less than 0.1% above fair value. S&P 500 futures climbed 0.1%, and the Nasdaq rose 0.3%. I expect the June jobs report to move Dow Jones futures after the 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time released, but the action in stock futures and treasury yields could whipsaw before the open and beyond. Crude oil prices edged lower as OPEC ministers struggled to agree on a new production quota. And remember, overnight action in Dow futures and elsewhere doesn't necessarily translate into actual trading in the next regular stock market session. I'm very curious to see what the jobs numbers are and where they land. And especially now that we are seeing states coming out, and even some blue states saying, yeah, we can't do this unemployment thing anymore because our GDP is dipping and we're not going to take jack shit in for taxes next year. That's something else they do need to realize. Even the bluest of blue states that wants to keep as many people on the benefits as they can, even deep, deep blue New York recognizes the fact that if they don't have tax revenue coming in, they're kind of fucked. So keep that in mind as people strategize as to what to do about the upcoming jobs reports, the upcoming numbers, and the upcoming economy to continue to show up here. But that's something we're going to see as we go. Looking in from Market Watch, Dow futures trade nearly flat ahead of June jobs report from Mark to Camber. U.S. stock index futures traded little changed on Friday, heading into a long holiday weekend ahead of the monthly employment report from the Labor Department at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time that could show roughly 700,000 jobs were created last month, as the economy bounces back from the pinko fucking pox. Markets will be attentive to the jobs figures because the labor market recovery has been uneven in the rebound from the deadly pandemic, despite a record number of job openings. The U.S. bond market will close an hour early Friday, and markets will remain closed on Monday in observance of the Independence Day or 4th of July holiday, which falls on a Sunday this year. So it will be, they'll close early today, and they will be closed on Monday. So that will be the answer to our question. Futures for the Dow we're trading 3 points higher at 34,517, a gain of less than 0.1%. S&P 500 futures were up less than a point at 43,1125. Nasdaq futures were advancing 2150 at 14,569.50, a rise of 0.2%. On Thursday, the S&P marked its sixth record close in succession. The Dow was to close at 34,633.53 within striking distance of its record close at 34,777.76 on May 7th. The Nasdaq is finishing up at 14,522.38. U.S. investors are focused on the employment picture on Friday with an update on the monthly figures looming. All eyes turn to the U.S. jobs report with monthly non-farm payrolls, wrote Neil Wilson, chief market analyst at Markets.com in a daily note. Economists polled by the Wall Street Journal estimate the U.S. added 706,000 new jobs for June, which would mark the biggest monthly gain since March. The share of unemployed people is expected to decline 5.6% from 5.8%. A survey of economists conducted by Econoday offers a vast range of projections, spanning from 520,000 jobs added to 1 million. I don't think they're going to get to the latter. I don't think they're going to get that far. I could actually believe 500,000. But we'll see where that goes. That range, similar to diverse projections by economists for the April report, could set the stage for disappointment. Despite evidence that inflation is heating up in the recovery from the pandemic, the jobs recovery hasn't instilled confidence in market participants, and it could prove a big catalyst for investors on Friday. The number of people quitting their jobs recently has hit a record. There's also a big flush of retirements among older people who don't want to risk their health. Whilst we know the Fed hasn't signaled it's not ignorant about inflation risks, we also know that the labor market is a key factor in determining the likely timing and the pace of tightening when it does happen, Wilson wrote. The labor force participation rate, reflecting the share of able-bodied people 16 or older who were in the labor force, stood at 61.6% in May, the same as it was last October. The U.S. economy has added some 14 million jobs since the labor market bottomed out in April of last year. But unemployment in May of 2021 was still some 7.5 million below its pre-pandemic level, said Chief Economist Gus Foucher of PNC Financial Services. The jobs report could come after weekly data on Thursday showed that the U.S. unemployment benefit claims sank to a pandemic low of 364,000 as extra benefits start to get phased out. Outside of jobs, investors will be looking for a report on international trade in goods and services for May, also due at 8:30 a.m. with a deficit of $71.2 billion expected, compared with $68.9 billion deficit in April. A reading on factory orders for May is due at 10 a.m. and are expected to show a rise of 1.5% this month. Oil may be in focus on Friday as organizations of petroleum exporting countries and Russia, a member group of the OPEC Plus, delayed a decision about easing output curbs that have been in place to help stabilize crude prices. The oil decision comes as the group is contending with the after effects of the COVID pandemic on energy and demand and concerns about the impact of variants of the coronavirus in parts of the world against expectations for higher demand as economies emerge from lockdowns and stay-at-home protocols put in place to limit the pandemic spread. Investors may keep an eye on talks, not a keen eye on talks, surrounding the U.S.'s debt ceiling, also amid reports suggesting that Congress has no plans to raise it. That's going to be a fun one, because Yellen is begging to get it raised because she knows that otherwise they just have to go and print more money and overheat the inflation once again. She knows if she can go into debt, she can hold inflation at a curb, but yeah, I don't think Congress is going to let it happen, but I'm going to stand here. And they're going to scream about, oh, well, we're going to default on our loans, and we can't do that because a Democrat is president, but we can brag about it when a Republican's president. So, yeah, a lot of stuff moving here. I still can't believe Krispy Kreme, by the way, was not a publicly traded company until, this week. That still blows my mind, by the way, because Krispy Kreme is everywhere. All right. So that's what we have going on in the markets. Let's get into the big news today. And by the way, just a reminder once again that if you are just lurking right now, get some of those last minute messages in so we can read your name and sometimes your message on the air. Because remember, if your message is sufficiently stupid or bigoted, it will raise the intellectual level of this program, and it will, of course, be read on the air because of that. Let's have a look at what the New York Post has to say to start with. From the New York Post, White House mocked for pun-filled tweet claiming cheaper July 4th cookout. From Samuel Chamberlain. The White House social media team set off some fireworks it didn't want on Thursday when it attempted to counter inflation fears by claiming that Americans will enjoy cheaper Independence Day parties this year. Planning a cookout this year, the groan-worthy tweet began. Ketchup on the news. According to the Farm Bureau, the cost of a 4th of July barbecue is down from last year. It's a fact you must heard. Oh, they're trying to do mustard. Ow, that was painful. Hot dog, the Biden economic plan is working, and that's something we can all relish. Here's the tweet, right here. From the White House, planning a cookout this year, ketchup on the news. According to the Farm Bureau, the cost of a 4th of July barbecue is down from last year. It's a fact you must heard. Hot dog, the Biden economic plan is working, and that's something we can all relish. So yes, they're showing a pound of sliced cheese is $4.05, down 1%. Let's see. Pork and beans is $1.90, down 13%. Ground beef is $8.20, down 8%. Half-gallon vanilla ice cream, down 5%. Center cut pork chops down 2%. Lemonade down 2%. And cheese down 1%. Yeah, that's probably true for the national average because there are places where people just aren't even trying anymore. But yeah, I'm looking back at some of these prices here. Half gallon vanilla ice cream for $4.63 is still outrageous. 2.5 quarts of lemonade for $3.65. That's still outrageous. A pound of cheese for $4.05. That's still outrageous. But of course, the White House. Come on, man. We're doing good for you, man. Come on. The tweet was accompanied by a gift laying out the price change for select food items. Among them, the cost of 2 pounds of ground beef is down 8% last year. The price of a pound of sliced cheese and a 13-ounce bag of potato chips are both down 1%. And the cost of a half gallon of vanilla ice cream is down 5% from 2020. The savings for the whole meal cost was 16 cents. And they said that too. 16 cents. However, it seems the White House social media team forgot to check with the U.S. Department of Agriculture before posting the claim. Last week, the USDA noted that consumer price index for grocery store and supermarket market food purchases was up 0.7% over May of last year. The USDA also projected that grocery store and supermarket prices would increase between 2 and 3% this year. Earlier this month, the Labor Department reported that its consumer price index showed that inflation had gone up 5% since May of 2020, the largest 12-month increase since a 5.4% bump for the period ending in August 2008. The Twitter users of all political persuasions expressed outrage at the spin attempt. Liz Harrington, who is quoting the great Orwell, says, "This reminds me of the passage in 1984 where they celebrate the chocolate ration going up when it was actually reduced by 10 grams. People love it when politicians tell them life is easier than they think, Republican strategist John Ashbrook added. Still laughing about this, Washington Examiner reporter Jerry Dunleavy remarked, 16 cents, and of course it includes ice cream. Beyond parody. Well, yeah, of course, because, come on, man, I gotta get my Rocky Road, man, come on. With an unprecedented humanitarian crisis at our border, soaring gas prices, and more out-of-control spending that will cripple our future generations, the Biden admin is bragging about saving us 4 cents on sliced cheese, lamented Burgess Owens of Utah. I'm the guy who voted for Biden so cheese prices would fall 1%. This is better than universal health care, one liberal Twitter user quipped. Reducing potato chip prices by 1% is practically the same thing as canceling student debt, right? Asked another user. Ha 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 ha! I love this. This is great. So, yeah, they didn't care for that very much. Let's grab one from the Daily Wire. Biden ripped for bragging about saving Americans 16 cents, lunacy and divorced from reality. President Biden faced intense backlash late Thursday after his admin bragged on social media that they had saved Americans a total of just 16 cents on the cost of food for 4th of July celebrations. Yeah, we read the tweet. I want to see if there's anyone else's reactions. There's Elise Stefanik, who's now famous for replacing Liz Cheney. Apparently no one at the Biden White House has been to the gas station recently. Yeah, it's probably been a good decade since any of them has been to the gas station. The average price for a gallon of gas is $3.15. That's the highest price for a gallon of gas since 2014 and a 42% increase from last year. Ed Oswald. What in the fresh hell is this? Housing costs are up by double digits. Used cars are literally appreciating on dealers' lots, and you're talking about a barbecue? The Trumpiness of this tweet is just gross. Might as well forget about everything else that's way more expensive. Yeah, I love that because he's right. The used cars. And that was one of the things is I went over, and I talked about this earlier. I went over to the Ford dealer just to see what they would give me for my truck. And while they weren't where I needed to be to trade my truck in because I really like my truck. So, of course, it's not for sale for regular Blue Book market value because I don't want to get rid of it. I like it a lot. And if you're going to take it from me, you're going to pay $7,000 over Blue Book value for it. Because otherwise, I'm going to sit on the thing. I drive like 5 miles a day to work. So there's not any mileage that's racking up on the thing. It's cool. It sounds cool, even though I've got to fix the tailpipe after the appraiser dinged the fucking tailpipe. while he was driving it around to make sure that everything was working properly. That's another story for another time. They still wrote me down an offer that was $2,000 over book. So yes, used vehicles are literally appreciating on a dealer's lot because our economy is in such a shambled place right now. Dan Price. 16 cents. Home prices are going up 24% annually right now. The median home goes for 16 cents every 1.3 seconds right now. And Curtis Hook will be the last one to read from. Lunacy and divorce from reality. One could argue this is worse than anything Trump tweeted from a policy perspective. But it wasn't mean. That's the thing. He didn't sit on his toilet and tweet mean things to Kim Jong-un. That's the important part, Curtis Hook. Remember that. It's not about what's actually happening in the policy perspective. It's about no mean tweets. But that's what we have going on. All right, let's go and grab one from Reuters. U.S. Supreme Court gives states more leeway to restrict voting. So we're going to shift gears here, and we're going to talk about what's actually big news going on here. Starting with states' rights and Article 2, Section 1. This is from Andrew Chung. The U.S. Supreme Court on Thursday made it easier for states to enact voting restrictions, endorsing Republican-backed measures in Arizona that a lower court had decided disproportionately burdened Black, Latino, and Native American voters, and handing a defeat to Democrats who challenged the policies. The 6-3 ruling, authored by conservative Justice Samuel Alito, held that restrictions on early ballot collection by third parties and where ballots may be cast did not violate the Voting Rights Act, a landmark 1965 federal law that prohibits racial discrimination in voting. No shit, we all knew that. In fact, I'm surprised that somewhere in the invisible ink in the bill, somebody in the lower court said, oh, see, it says no black people allowed to vote. It's in invisible ink right next to the provision that makes abortion constitutional. President Biden and other Democrats swiftly condemned the Arizona decision, and a second one also issued by the justices on Thursday, the last day of rulings for the court's current 9-month term. In a case from California that could endanger some political donor disclosure laws, in both rulings, the court's 6 conservative justices were in the majority, with 3 liberal justices dissenting. Various states have enacted sweeping Republican-backed voting restrictions in the wake of former President Trump's false claims of widespread election fraud. Yes, this is totally an objective article, but I mean, that's what you expect coming from fucking Reuters. They stopped being an actual legitimate news source now, and they're just a fucking rag. Well, come on. Well, this is a broad assault on voting rights. It's sadly not unprecedented. It's taken on new forms. It's no longer just a fight over who gets to vote, man. Come on. And making it easier for eligible voters to vote. It's about who gets to, Jill. Hey. What's my line, Jill? Come on. Oh, that's it. It's about who gets to count the vote and whether your vote counts at all, Biden said. The Arizona ruling makes it harder to prove violations of the Voting Rights Act. It could complicate a June 25th lawsuit by Biden's admin challenging a new Republican-backed voting restriction. In Georgia, under the Voting Rights Act, Georgia's law went so far as to ban the distribution of water or food to voters waiting in long lines within a certain distance of the polling place, you fucking morons. You get outside 150 feet, you can give them all the fucking food you want. You understand that, right? You could make a full 12-course gourmet meal and hand out small paper plates of that expensive food to anybody that's waiting in the voting line or waiting to go vote, as long as you're outside 150 feet of the actual polling location. That's an anti-campaign law. You fucking dolts. The ruling clarified the limits of Voting Rights Act and how courts may analyze claims of voting discrimination. The mere fact that there is some disparity on impact does not necessarily mean that a system is not equally open or that it does not give everyone an equal opportunity to vote, Alito said. In a scathing dissent, liberal Justice Elaine called the ruling tragic, noting that crude efforts pursued by some states in the past to block voting access, such as literacy tests, to prevent black people from casting ballots have given way to ever new forms of discrimination since the court in 2013 gutted another part of the Voting Rights Act. I hate to tell you guys this, and I mean the Supreme Court's going to look at this and say, "Ha ha! We know better than you because we are the Supreme Court." But as written, if I understand Article 2, Section 1 correctly, the 1965 Voting Rights Act is also unconstitutional. Now, I'm glad it's there, don't get me wrong, but as far as I understand, that's unconstitutional. So the court decides this Voting Rights Act case at a perilous moment for the nation's commitment to equal citizenship. It decides this case in an era of voting rights retrenchment when too many states and localities are restricting access to voting in ways that will predictably deprive members of minority groups equal access to the ballot box, Kagan wrote. What disproportionate access to the ballot box? If you have a problem, talk with your municipality. I know you have no power to make them open up new precincts and new voting locations, but I bet you if you shake your fist as a justice of the United States Supreme Court, they'll think you have some kind of power to do so, even though constitutionally you don't have any power to do it whatsoever. They'll probably still think, because, I mean, the mayors of these cities are doing what they can to make sure that they have this so they can go back and blame Republicans when Republicans win. And then they can run around the whole thing of, if you are denied your ballot for whatever reason, or you're forced to show ID, stand back and loudly say, "I demand a provisional ballot," as if you actually would get denied your ballot, unless you went off and voted twice. So yes, Article 2, Section 1 stands, and states have the ability to make their own voting laws as they see fit. I'm not surprised that this one went along partisan lines, but I am surprised that Roberts went along with it, because he's basically a progressive liberal at this point. All right, let's grab one from, this is the tweet from Biden related to this. Today's decision by the Supreme Court undercuts voting rights in this country, and that makes it... Oh, wait, we got to do this in the Biden voice. Come on, man. Today's decision by the Supreme Court, man. Come on, undercuts voting rights in this country, and it makes it all the more crucial. Pass the For the People Act, man. Come on, and the John Lewis Voting Rights Advancement Act to restore and expand voting protection. Come on, man. Our democracy depends on it. And if you don't pass it, man, Corn Pop, he's a real bad dude. And Corn Pop, he might win something somewhere. Come on. Come on, man. All right, from CNN. 26th Amendment granting 18-year-olds the right to vote. Privilege to vote. You don't have the right to vote. Marks its 50th anniversary. Rachel Janfasa brings us this article from CNN. Nicolette Carrion did a little dance when she cast her first ballot ever in last year's election. Now that I'm 18, I'm able to invest in my future in being able to vote. Is that what they told you in school, that you're investing in your future? By electing a corrupted politician that just wants to take big business money? Is that what they told you? Okay, invest in your future. Who are your local elder people? Nicolette Carrion. Carrion's right to vote at age 18 comes because of the 26th Amendment, which marks its 50th anniversary on Thursday. The 26th Amendment is part of our country's journey to expand and actually make our democracy more inclusive, said Mike Burns, National Director of the Campus Vote Project, an organization that works to remove barriers for students and provides information needed to vote. Good, let them drink a fucking beer then. When the 26th Amendment was ratified in July 1st of 1971, America was at war with Vietnam. Throughout U.S. history, when necessary, such as during World War II and the Vietnam War, 18-year-olds were drafted for military conscription. Those in favor of lowering the voting age argued that if 18-year-olds could serve in the country at war, they should be able to vote for the commander-in-chief. They should also be able to possess a fermented alcoholic beverage without having to worry about the sheriff coming in and busting up their party. But hey, who do I know? Part of the push to adopt the 26th Amendment was the ongoing protest movements of the Vietnam War. Before the protest movements were the only option for young people not actually being voters who could cast ballots about the very decisions that affect their lives, Burns said. In recent years, young people have demonstrated high levels of engagement, leading to historic youth voter turnout at the 2018 midterm elections, which usually comes from their activist high school teachers, and one of the highest youth voter turnout in rates in the 2020 general election. In 2020, half of young people aged 18 to 29 voted, according to research from Center for Information and Research on Civic Learning and Engagement at Tufts. Oh good, it's an acronym. It's CIRCLE. An 11-point jump from the 39% of young people ages 18 to 29 who voted in 2016. According to census data analyzed by CIRCLE, youth voter turnout was almost as high in 2020 as it was in 1972, the year after the 26th Amendment was ratified. It's the grandchildren and the great-grandchildren of the folks who protested during the Vietnam War and the years before that who are using that right, dealing with the unfinished business that's been left for them. I think this generation is leading the charge for democratic reforms, whether it's around climate change, systemic racism and oppression, or economic inequality. John Della Volpe, director of polling at Harvard Kennedy School Institute of Politics, said, "The Nonpartisan States of Change Project, which studies voting trends and demographic change, projects in 2024 millennials and Gen Z for the first time will represent a much larger share of eligible voters, nearly 45%. By 2028, millennials and Gen Z will make up almost exactly half of eligible voters, and those born before 1964 will fall below a third of voters." For her part, Carolyn DeWitt, executive director of Rock the Vote, the long-standing nonpartisan... Bullshit, nonpartisan. Fuck you, nonpartisan. That is not a nonpartisan organization. I've been watching Rock the Vote since I was fucking 12. And they have the same message. Oh, that evil Republican wants to take us to war, but all you youth get out and vote for the good and virtuous Democrat. Fuck you. That is not a nonpartisan organization. Believes what she called the distinctly diverse generations, millennials and Gen Z, are exceptionally engaged. There has absolutely been a change in the attitudes and behaviors of young people in recent years, DeWitt said. This idea that young people are apathetic and lazy could not be further from the truth. This is an extremely passionate youth generation. Abby Kisa, director of Impact at Circle, also emphasized the role that young people have played in encouraging youth civic participation in recent years. And yes, because this is the anniversary of the 26th Amendment, now we also have to go back and look at the fact that, oh my god, they're passing voter restrictions, they're going to keep black people from the ballot box, oh my god, the humanity. Even though I have never seen an instance where an eligible black voter has been turned away from the ballot box. Ever. Because it doesn't happen. See, they try to tell you this happens. They try to tell you long lines and they can't get to vote in time. If you're in line, you're voting. And once again, the municipalities control the precincts. So if your municipality is giving you a long line, you need to go to your mayor and your older person and say, hey, we need more precincts. Get with the precincts, asshole. Come on. Otherwise, I'm going to get some baby powder, and you're going to feel the power of my fucking pimp hand. All right, but that's what we see coming back up out of that. From Carmen Sabia. Carmen Sabia quote tweets Lonnie G. Bunch III. 50 years ago, when I was 19, the 26th Amendment was ratified, prohibiting denial of voting rights to those who are at least 18 years old. Pins like these from our American History Museum helped carry the message that young people demanded the right to elect their representatives. Carmen Sabia quote tweets this, saying, "No one's being denied the right to vote. No one has violated the 26th Amendment. It would be nice if Twitter constitutional scholars could get some of this correct." Oh, but voter ID! Oh, no! That's going to make it so they can't go vote. Oh, my God, the humanity. All right, let's grab one here from NPR for you guys. And don't forget, open those wallets because NPR needs your money. Your taxpayer money isn't enough to hold them up. So help NPR out and help them spread their communist and progressive ideas. National Progressive Radio. The Supreme Court throws out a state law requiring nonprofits to name rich donors. This is from Nina Totenberg. Well, those rich donors shouldn't be donating to nonprofits. They should be donating to NPR. Because it's not your money, comrade. It's our money. Let's see what they have to say. The U.S. Supreme Court on Thursday sided with rich donors in their desire to remain anonymous against a state law aimed at policing finances of charities and other nonprofits. By a 6-3 vote along ideological lines, the court struck down California's law requiring nonprofits to file a list of their large donors with the state. The court said the law subjected donors to potential harassment, chilling their speech in violation of the First Amendment. Under the California law, the tax-exempt groups were to attach their filings with the state a copy of their IRS forms reporting the names and addresses of all donors who gave more than $5,000 or 2% of the organization's total donations. The case was brought by the Americans for Prosperity Foundation, a tax-exempt nonprofit founded by Charlie Koch and his brother David Koch. Oh my God, it's the Koch brothers! The world's gonna end! Who died in 2019, as well as the Thomas More Law Center, another conservative group. In his opinion, for the court's conservative majority, Chief Justice John Roberts said the court was applying exacting scrutiny, not strict scrutiny, in analyzing the California measure. While exacting scrutiny does not require that disclosure regimes be the least restrictive means of achieving their ends, it does require that they be narrowly tailored to the government's asserted interest. There was, however, a dramatic mismatch between California's interest in policing charities and the law's reporting requirements. Historically, it is state attorneys general who police charities, and in California, a state with 115,000 charities, that's a big job. John Masoka, the CEO of California Association of Nonprofits, compares the California regime to the Federal Aviation Administration system of regulation. Just as the FAA needs information from airplane manufacturers and airlines to ensure safety in air travel, California and other states need information from charities to ferret out fraud and self-dealing. All of us, nonprofits and donors, we want to have that confidence that the rules are being enforced, and we need the state attorney general to do that, Masoka says. This has nothing to do with that. California is trying to hold up the illusion that they're running a massive budget surplus right now. And part of doing that is going to be taxing everybody for as much blood as they can pull out of them, including the rich donors to nonprofits. Now, if you're a rich donor to a nonprofit, what are you not going to do? You're going to tell everybody about that. You know why? Because you can write that shit off your taxes. You can take that money and hand it over to your accountant and say, see, I put this to a charitable cause. So don't tax me for it, bro. Now, yes, I understand the fact that there are some disclosures out there that are going to lead to harassment, but California wants this law into place so that if somebody, just for whatever reason, happens to lie about it on their taxes, they can go back and have the nonprofit. It's not about harassing the people as much as, yes, we do know that the Californians are going to go harass the conservative ones. It's more about making sure that the actual money is being paid to the actual nonprofit, so that if it's not getting paid to the actual nonprofit, but being reported that it's getting paid to the nonprofit, then the California Department of Revenue can go back and write up the ass of the wealthy donors. I say stuff like that, and then I do hope and pray that my nephew never finds this show. Because that's going to be a long conversation I'm going to wind up having with my sister, and she's not going to be happy about it. All right. All right. So yeah, that's what's going on here. From Politico. Not a healthy environment. Kamala Harris's office rife with dissent. This was juicy. I like this one. Do I have an author for this? Yeah, I do. From Christopher Cadelago. There it is. Daniel Lippman and Eugene Daniels. I think I let my mouth go faster than my brain sometimes. And it shows. Of course, our current sitting president also lets his mouth go faster than his brain, but that's because his mouth is kind of the hare, and his brain has kind of devolved into the turtle. He might be going to snail's pace at this point. For days, aides in outside alleys have been calling and texting. Sorry, I missed a paragraph there entirely. When Vice President Kamala Harris finally made the decision to visit the Mexico border last week, people inside her own office were blindsided by the news. For days, aides in outside alleys have been calling and texting each other about the political fallout that a potential trip would entail. But when it became known that she was going to El Paso, it left many scrambling, including officials who were responsible for making travel arrangements and others outside the VP's office charged with crafting the message across the administration. The handling of the border visit was the latest chaotic experiment for a staff that's quickly become mired in them. Harris's team is experiencing low morale, porous lines of communication, and diminished trust among aides and senior officials. Much of the frustration internally is directed at Tina Florina, Harris's chief of staff, a veteran of Democratic politics who began working for her earlier this year. In interviews, 22 current and former vice presidential aides, administration officials, and associates of Harris and Biden described a tense and at times dour office atmosphere. Aides and allies, said Flournoy, in an apparent effort to protect Harris, has instead created an insular environment where ideas are ignored or met with harsh dismissals and decisions are dragged on. Often, they said, she refuses to take responsibility for delicate issues and blames staffers for the negative results that ensue. No way! No! Oh, no, there's corruption in the Harris office, the vice presidential office? I'm shocked. Shocked, I say. So that's what we have going on with that. People are thrown under the bus from the very top. There are very short fuses. And it's an abusive environment, said another person with direct knowledge of how Harris's office is run. It's not a healthy environment, and people often feel mistreated. It's not a place where you feel supported, but a place where people feel treated like shit. The dysfunction in the VP's ranks threatens to complicate the White House's carefully crafted image as a place staffed by a close-knit group of professionals working in concert to advance the president's agenda. Well, I hate to tell you this, but the president's agenda is to have a cup of tapioca pudding at 2 o'clock in the afternoon and in bed by 7. Calling a lid, man! Come on! It is pronounced enough that members of the president's own team have taken notice and are concerned about the way Harris's staffers are treated. Simone Sanders, senior advisor and chief spokesperson for Harris, pushed back against the complaints and defended Flournoy in saying that she has an open-door policy and that black women, like me, would not have the opportunity to work in politics without Tina. Of the chief of staff's anonymous critics, she added, "People are cowards to do this way. We're not making rainbows and bunnies all day. When I hear that people have hard jobs, I'm like, welcome to the club. Well, yeah, you have to make Kamala Harris, who put people in prison for the simple fun of smoking a fucking joint, you have to make her look good." We have created a culture where people, if there's anything anyone would like to raise, there are avenues for them to do so. Whoever has something they would like to raise, they should raise it directly. So, well, this is fun. This is fun. Love to see it. Most popular president and vice president in history. From Axios. Let's shift gears and talk about the House. Pelosi appoints Liz Cheney to House Select Committee investigating January 6th. Because of course she did. I mean, we all knew it was coming. Let's be realistic. As soon as Pelosi said, okay, I'm going to make a select House committee to investigate January 6th. But I get to pick the people who are on it. We all knew that Cheney's name was going to be coming up on that. From Oriana Gonzalez. House Speaker Pelosi announced Thursday that Representative Liz Cheney is one of the 8 members she has selected to serve on the select committee that will investigate the Selfie Fest. The former GOP conference chair was ousted from leadership for her opposition to Trump's election lies, and the fact that her constituency fucking hated her by that point. She's the only Republican handpicked by Pelosi to serve on the 13-member committee. The committee will consolidate several House investigations. It was formed after Republicans blocked a bill that would have established bipartisan 9/11-style commission to probe the attack. The remaining 5 members will be picked from the consultation with House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy, though he has not yet indicated whether other Republicans intend to participate. In a closed-door meeting with freshman Republicans on Wednesday, McCarthy warned that they would be stripped of their committee assignments if they accepted a position on the select committee from Pelosi. 2 sources familiar with the discussions tell Axios' Elaine. So, here are the members in order of seniority according to Pelosi. Benny Thompson of Mississippi. These are all D, by the way. As chairman, Zoe Lofgren of California, Adam Schiff of California, Pete Aguilar of California. So, outsized California representation, as per usual in the House. Liz Cheney. They should just change your party affiliation, Cheney. Change it from an R to a W. Liz Cheney, warmonger, Wyoming. War pig, Wyoming. Stephanie Murphy of Florida, Jamie Raskin of Maryland, and Elaine Luria of Virginia. So, that's who's going to be serving on this, but we have some more drama from this. Drama. I gotta switch these around, because I have them backwards. I gotta switch a couple of these around. Goodness, I'm way disorganized. I also have a sneeze coming on. Alright, it went away. Alright, from the Hill. McCarthy, shocked. Cheney accepted January 6th panel assignment from Pelosi, from Christina Marcos. Why? I'm not shocked. I knew she was going to do it. I got to give... the evil orange man snubbed my father, and he started pulling troops back out of the Middle East. He set the groundwork to end the wars of the Middle East, and he ran on running and getting the wars out of the Middle East. He changed the Republican platform away from bombing brown kids. He must be stopped. I'm not surprised at all. He made war unpopular with Republicans. Good for him. From Christina Marcos. House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy said Thursday he was shocked that Representative Liz Cheney would accept the invitation from Speaker Pelosi to serve on the new Select Committee to investigate the Selfie Fest on January 6th. McCarthy said that he hadn't heard from Cheney and suggested that she is more allied with Democrats than the party which she served as a third-ranking leader until her ouster in May. Dude, they're all globalist fucking war pigs. Democrats and neocon Republicans, all they want to do is go after the oil and go after the brown kids and get their kickbacks from fucking Raytheon forever and ever until the end of time. They're not virtuous. She has no allegiance to the party. She has allegiance to the weapons manufacturers. Why are you shocked, Kevin McCarthy? Apparently we get 850,000 jobs this week. This month. I have questions. I was shocked that she would accept something from Speaker Pelosi, McCarthy told reporters in the Capitol. Why? McCarthy and his allies backed ousting Cheney as the House GOP conference chair for repeatedly pushing back on former President Trump's false claims of election fraud and directly blaming him for inciting the mob of his supporters. They always have to put the false claims in this. There's never been definitive proof that they're false. You are a journalist outlook. This is not an editorial. and directly blaming him for inciting the mob of supporters who tried to stop Congress from ratifying the election results, thus denying them, of course, their right to air their grievances with the government, something that's enshrined in the Constitution. Something that you've never read, I'm guessing, Miss Cheney. I don't have one of those clips. When a reporter asked McCarthy if he believed Trump is accountable in any way for what led to the January 6th selfie fest, he avoided directly responded and pivoted to a recent Senate committee report that outlined law enforcement agencies' failure to prepare for the violence. He wasn't. And by the way, McCarthy, if you can't stand up and say, no, he wasn't, then you're as fucking useless as the rest of them. If you have to pussyfoot around this, then you are fucking useless as the rest of them. And you should resign too. Fuck you. The people that went in there went onto their own responsibility and their own volition. They were told to peacefully march. So if you can't answer that directly, then yeah, stand down. Because you don't need to be in leadership either. Fuck you. But you get to sit behind Donald's coattails and say, see, I'm a good little government person. I'm a good little populist. Please vote for me again. It's all about power for these people. That's all it's ever been about. From the Daily Wire, Liz Cheney accepts appointment to Pelosi's January 6th committee, dares McCarthy to strip assignments. From Emily Zanotti. Liz Cheney accepted Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi's invitation to serve on the Democrats' partisan January 6th Select Committee, daring Republican minority Kevin McCarthy to follow through this threat to strip Republicans who agreed to assist Democrats in the matter of their committee assignments. I mean, he did it once already. Why do you think he won't do it again? Pelosi named Cheney to the panel on Thursday, following through on a promise to make the panel bipartisan. It's not bipartisan. They might have different letters after the name, but they're both a part of the same mono party. It's a big fucking club and you're not in it. Mono party. Despite the distinctly partisan nature of a Democrat-run select committee, Pelosi agreed to the committee following a Senate vote at the end of an effort to create a congressional select committee similar to the one that investigated September 11, 2001 terror attacks, designed to probe how supporters of President Trump were able to breach the United States Capitol and make it within feet of elected officials. Well, they pay taxes. It's their house. And there's a lot more of them than there are of you. But yes, keep that fortress fucking locked down forever. So, I mean, we've seen a lot of the stuff in the previous articles, but I want to get to the dare her. I'm honored to have been named to serve on the January 6th Select Committee. I'm sure you are, you war pig. Congress is obligated to conduct a full investigation of the most serious attack on our Capitol since 1814. That day saw the most sacred space in our republic overrun by an angry and violent mob attempting to stop the counting of electoral votes and threatening the peaceful transfer of power, Cheney's statement read. She went on to claim the investigation will be nonpartisan. Bullshit. 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 I have not. All right, the mono party strikes again. That's pretty much what we're taking back up out of this. And yeah, Cheney, I dare you to strip me of my assignments. Please do. Please do. Get this spawn of Dick Cheney out of our government. That will be the best thing for the entire country. And then send her back home to Wyoming and say, well, I can't do anything because I don't have any committee assignments. Oh, no. They're going to vote her out anyway. And it'll be a totally free and fair election with nothing bad happening. All right, another one from Politico here. Team Trump quietly launches new social media platform. It's called Getter. Yeah, you probably shouldn't have used that. I'm sorry. Gitter will be the newest MAGA venture into the space. It's being led by Trump's former spokesman, Jason Miller. From Meredith McGraw, Tina Wynn, and Cristiano Lima. Former President Trump's team quietly launched new social media platform on Thursday, billing it as an alternative to big tech sites. But the debut immediately ran into confusion about whether it was the former president's long-promised bid to offer his legions of followers their own social media haven, or merely the next attempt to build a mega alternative to the main platforms. The site, called Gitter, advertised its mission statement as fighting cancel culture, promoting common sense, defending free speech, challenging social media monopolies, and creating a true marketplace of idea. The app is currently in beta form and will be officially launched on July 4th at 10 a.m. Trump's former spokesman, Jason Miller, is leading the platform. He confirmed via text. Former Trump campaign spokesman Tim Murtaugh is involved in consultation in the app. Okay, why are we trying to do this with politicians? Get a fucking tech developer, dude. But yeah, Gitter. Seriously? I mean, is this going to be is it going to be a grab him by the pussy joke, or is it going to be a lock her up joke? Seriously? I mean, if you hand ammunition to these people that hate you, they're going to use it. But who am I to talk? I guess I just stand here in front of a golden microphone and tell you what I think of the news. From Newsweek, Trump calls for the name of officer who shot Ashley Babbitt during the Capitol riot. I guess Mana says that was a member of Pence's security detail. I did not know that. So that's something I will probably look into for Monday's show, because I'm doing a Monday show, but all my friends are doing next week's shows. So make sure you guys give them a lot of love and respect next week, because they rock. And I'll be out on Lake Michigan salmon fishing, but I'll be talking to you guys. I can get a cell signal out where we're going to be, just so you know. And with that cell signal, I'm going to be on there hassling you guys as we go. It'll be the most direct conversation you guys have had with me during Contemporary, and it's because I won't be sitting here looking into the camera. This is from Jenny Fink, by the way. Former President Trump is joining a chorus of people who want to know the name of the officer who fatally shot Ashley Babbitt while she was in the U.S. Capitol during the January 6th riot. Babbitt was shot through the glass pane of a door inside the federal building, one of 5 people to lose their life that day. Correction, one of 1 people to lose their life that day. 1 of 1. You don't get to retcon history. This is not 1984. In June, the Department of Justice closed an investigation into the U.S. Capitol Police officer who shot her, clearing him of any wrongdoing. However, her family has filed a lawsuit to obtain the officer's records and is seeking more than $10 billion for her death. In a statement Wednesday, Trump asked, "Who shot Ashley Babbitt?" was the first official statement he's made regarding the officer involved in her death. In April, the Justice Department said it had conducted a thorough investigation into the 35-year-old's death that included examining video footage and speaking with other officers and witnesses, as well as the autopsy results. The investigation yielded insufficient evidence to support the criminal persecution of the officer. Specifically, the investigation revealed no evidence to establish that at the time the officer fired a single shot at Miss Babbitt, the officer did not reasonably believe that it was necessary to do so in self-defense or in defense of the members of Congress and others evacuating the House chamber. The Department of Justice wrote, because we're defending the all-powerful royalty of our government. Hey, why don't we just take our full auto select fire rifles and let's just start mowing down the evil MAGA people who are completely unarmed? That's what I'm getting out of a statement like this. And this just pisses me off to no end. Because the left people, and some of them come in on Twitch, they try to twist this. Who shot Ashley Babbitt? A great patriot shot Ashley Babbitt. A great defender of our democracy. Bullshit. Bullshit. And another one yesterday came on and said, Republicans trying to find out who shot Ashley Babbitt are proving the fact that it's just the white supremacist conservatives believe that it's the police's job to mow down black people in a racist fashion, like slave hunters. No, bullshit. What you're saying with this is You say it's the police's job to go and mow down political dissenters. You fucking twidget. I try very hard in my life to not get angry, but this whole thing with Ashley Babbitt and the way they're trying to spin it at this point, just that makes me seethingly angry because that's the kind of government we got away from. Now, yes, if a police officer finds out that his life is in imminent danger because a suspect has a knife and he's reaching for it, after he fought off several police officers with a taser barb sticking out of his ass, yes, I believe that's a reasonable situation for the officer to fire his service weapon. But an unarmed woman stuck in a window, getting a fucking barrel pot shot taken at her. You know, like shooting fish in a barrel. That's really what this was. And the fact that they can say something like this, that the government can say something like this, tells me that yes, they believe it's their right and responsibility to, if the evil MAGA people breach the Capitol, that they should just take their select fire rifles and start mowing them down left and right. Ugh. I'm sorry, I try not to get angry. But, that just fries me right there. From CBS. Trump Organization CFO Elaine Weisselberg charged with 15 counts of alleged tax fraud scheme. From Melissa Quinn, Cassidy McDonald, Nicole Skanga, Stefan Beckett, updated on July 2nd. Lawyers for the Trump Organization and one of its top executives pleaded not guilty to a slew of charges in a lower Manhattan courtroom on Thursday as prosecutors alleged a 16-year scheme of brazen fraud and tax evasion by former President Trump's namesake company. A grand jury returned a 15-count indictment against the Trump Organization and Elaine Weisselberg, its chief financial officer, late Wednesday evening. Prosecutors from the Manhattan District Attorney's Office, and no, I'm not mispronouncing that word, that's exactly what I mean to say, detailed the alleged crimes at Thursday's initial court appearance and in the 25-page indictment filed in the state court. The indictment alleged the company and Weisselberg orchestrated a scheme to funnel more than $1.7 million in untaxed indirect employee compensation to the longtime executive beginning in 2005. Prosecutors said the Trump Organization failed to properly report the payments to tax authorities. It was orchestrated by the most senior executives who were financially benefiting themselves and the company by getting secret pay raises at the expense of state and federal taxpayers, Carrie Dunn, an assistant DA, told the judge. Wait, what? It's a private company. Unless they're specifically contracted with the government, no, the taxpayers wouldn't be giving the pay raises. You just charge way too much shit in taxes. But regardless, it does look like Weisselberg was skimming off the top, and congratulations, you've made Trump into the fucking victim. You've got an embezzler. Great, you caught the embezzler who's embezzling from Donald Trump. Let's get this dangerous person up off the streets. Do you not understand what this is? And they still can't charge the Donald with anything. Weisselberg surrendered to authorities early Thursday morning and was led into courtroom in handcuffs. At the arraignment in the afternoon, he was released on his own recognizance after giving up his passport and is next due in court on September 20th. And I will put this in the Discord here, but here's the full indictment that you guys can all read. It's 25 pages. And you can get all the charges on everything that it does look like he's going to get. So let me go ahead and drop that in the Discord for you guys. If you guys want to go through and read that and see what they're persecuting Weisselberg with. Oh, the Discord's over here. Ha! I had it parked in the wrong screen. I got 3 of them, so I need to know which one it is. That's right, I was using it over there. So I always have the Discord parked on this screen. All right, so that's what we see coming off of that. Let's get the live chat back up for you guys. All right, let's keep going. The House Plan Chief went down to Miami to go have a talk here from local10.com. They've still got the rainbow icon up. They're really supportive. This is from David Selling in Hot Cell Vella. Biden spends emotional day in Surfside. Come on, man. Tell me what you need. Biden says federal government plans to pick up 100% of the cost of rescue and cleanup. Well, that's kind of you. But I think you need to consult with your taxpayers before you do that. A week after the tragic collapse of the Champlain Tower South condo building, President Biden visited South Florida, where he cried with Surfside families, thanked first responders, and pledged financial assistance to rescue and recovery efforts. He finished his day with an unannounced visit to the Wall of Hope and Memorial set up near the condo site, where he read posted messages and First Lady Jill Biden brought flowers. I think I have the power. You've been in government for 50 years. You know if you have the power or not, unless your brain is Swiss cheese. I think I have the power, and we'll know shortly, to be able to pick up 100% of the costs for the county and state for 30 days, Biden said at a command briefing Thursday morning, flanked by Ron DeSantis and Miami-Dade County Mayor Daniela Levine Cava. I think I'm quite sure I can do that. Levine, Cava, and DeSantis thanked Biden for the support, with the Republican governor telling the Democratic president, "You recognize the severity of this tragedy from day one, and you've been very supportive." Biden praised the bipartisan collaboration over the week. "We live in a nation where we can cooperate," he said, and it's really important. Yes, absolutely. It should be for the people. And this should be for helping the grieving families. This should not be a partisan issue. Sadly, there are people who are going to make it a partisan issue, including the people that say that the only reason the building fell was because of climate change. But yeah, good on him. I don't know if he's got the power to do that, if he's got the power to just sign over whatever it's going to cost to repair and rebuild the building, but yeah, it's good to see that he's going to try. All right, let's grab one from NBC 6 out of South Florida. Surfside rescue work resumes as Biden meets with workers, victims' families. I don't have an author on this one. Florida people. Who works at NBC 6? Throw out names. I have no idea. I don't know who wrote this article. Rescue efforts at the site of a partially collapsed Surfside condo building halted after crews noticed widening cracks and up to a foot of movement in a large column resumed on Thursday evening, officials said. Surfside Mayor Charles Burkett said the search and rescue operations were back on full power as workers were seen returning to the pile of rubble on Thursday evening. At a news conference on Thursday morning, officials said the work at the site halted shortly after 2 a.m. and threatened to keep search teams off the rubble pile for an unknown period. Work resumed nearly 15 hours later at 4:45 p.m. Today we resumed our... I don't know if that's supposed to be written like that or if that's a typo, because grammatically that makes no sense. Today we resumed our search and rescue efforts, and I have to tell you that our firefighters looked really excited to get back out there, Miami-Dade Mayor Daniela Levine Cava said during an evening news conference. This was following the recommendations of our structural engineers. They had taken the time to study the conditions to make sure things were safe. Planning is also underway for the likely demolition of the remaining Champlain towers, Levine Cava said. Yeah, you're probably not going to get a lot of repair back out of this, and really, honestly, I wouldn't build anything back on that site. Because we know it's structurally compromised at this point. It doesn't even make it 40 years. Close. 39 and a half, but not 40 years. This is a decision we need to make extremely carefully and methodically as we consider all of the possible impacts of the pile of debris to our search and rescue operation, as well as the considerations as to how to best manage the demolition in order to safeguard the integrity of the existing debris field, she said. Miami-Dade Fire Rescue Chief Alan Kaminsky said the rescue work was halted after the engineers discovered 6 to 12 inches of movement in a large column hanging from a structure that could fall and cause damage to the support columns in the subterranean garage area, as well as slight movement in concrete floor slabs on the south side of the structure, north and south corner of the building, that could cause additional failure of the building. Yeah. And you don't want to be digging your rescue workers out with more rescue workers, because that would be lame. Unfortunately, I don't know. It's been a week. I think that we're to the point that it's a recovery issue at this point. So, yeah, we're probably just going to have to go ahead and get the rock down. But, I'm glad that they found as many people as they did. Unfortunately, I don't know if they're going to find any more. I hope they do. I really hope that they find more people alive. But I don't know. I know we're getting to that point in time. And it sucks. It's lame. I hate it. But realistically, it's going to be there. From Fox 9, back up out of my neck of the woods. Judge orders City of Minneapolis to hire more police officers. From Fox 9 staff. A Hennepin County District Court judge has ordered the City of Minneapolis to hire more police officers. According to an order filed Thursday, the City Council and Mayor Jacob Fry are ordered to immediately take any and all necessary action to ensure they fund a full police force. But they defunded the police. That means the city must employ 730 sworn officers by June 30th of next year. According to the Upper Midwest Law Center, the City of Minneapolis project only 669 sworn officers as of... Yeah, we're missing a letter. We're missing a word in here somewhere. Let me see if I can pick through this and figure this out. According to the Upper Midwest Law Center, the City of Minneapolis project shows only 669 sworn officers as of June 1st, 2022. That's the best way I can make that sentence make sense. The people who filed the lawsuit are residents of Minneapolis' Hawthorne and Jordan neighborhoods. They are Kathy Spahn, Sandra Samuels, Don Samuels, Adjua Pugh, Jonathan Lundberg, Amy Lundberg, Georgiana Yantos, and Julie Oden. So it looks like they sued the city because they weren't getting the police force that they were paying taxes for. Which, that's the thing. I mean, if you're going to these cities and you're paying taxes because, hey, I'm going to have a police force and it'll be at least a decent area to live, you have to sit back and wonder, what the fuck are my taxes going to? So that's a good one here. Another lawsuit filed here. Lawsuit filed by Texas Sheriff's County's ICE officers against President Biden and the administration. A lawsuit has been filed by several Texas sheriffs and counties along with the Association of ICE Officers against President Joe Biden and the leadership of his Department of Homeland Security. The lawsuit includes Sheriff Brad Coe of Kinney County, Texas Sheriff Emmett Shelton of McMillan County, and Sheriff Rand Henderson of Montgomery County. The suit, Sheriff Brad Coe et al. Versus Joseph R. Biden Jr. et al. Accuses Biden admin of violating federal statutes that require certain illegal aliens to be detained and removed from the U.S. On February 18th, Alejandro Mayorkas with the Department of Homeland Security issued a policy memorandum that prevents ICE officers from detaining or removing illegal immigrants. According to the lawsuit, the plaintiffs are asking the Biden admin to follow the law and allow ICE officers to do their jobs. According to the lawsuit, it states that ICE officers requested permission to take custody of numerous dangerous illegal aliens, including kitty diddlers and drug dealers. They have been denied permission by their superiors under the Biden admin policy. The Biden admin policy stands in direct violation of not one but three different federal statutes, said Chris Kobach, General Counsel of the Alliance for Free Citizens and lead attorney for the sheriffs and ICE officers. Congress has mandated that the executive branch must detain and remove certain illegal aliens, but the Biden admin is ignoring the law. I actually have to wonder where the legality goes to that, because it's kind of like when, and I think this actually stands to set a very dangerous precedent. And I'm going to tell you why. It's not the fact that I like the fact that they're just keeping these illegals in the country, not deporting them. I don't like that fact. But I look beyond what is happening with this particular administration and what could be coming in the future. And one of the things that I am completely unnerved about when I look at something like this, because there are a lot of things that I get unnerved about when I look at something like this, but one of the things that most unnerves me about this is this is telling the federal government that they have to enforce the law as it's written. While we have sheriffs in various states and local law enforcement and various local governments that are not enforcing the federal law as it's written and choosing not to enforce the drug laws. That's a big one right there. The decriminalization of marijuana. If this lawsuit goes, then the federal government can go back after everybody who smokes a fucking joint in Colorado because you're pushing them to go and enforce the law to the letter, to the T. Not only that, the Missouri thing where they're not recognizing federal gun laws in Missouri. What do you think that does if Texas sues the federal government and does it? Now, yes, I think that it's wrong. But if the district court has to order the executive branch to follow the letter of the law to the letter, then what happens with these other places where people are ignoring federal law? What happens there? That concerns me. Because there are other sides of this, other than just what's going on in the border. And yes, we do need to figure out what to do with the border, and I think that does involve getting some of these people out. I am concerned about what happens after this lawsuit. Not necessarily what happens from this lawsuit, but what happens after it. In states that are declaring their sovereignty and taking back their 10th Amendment powers. But we'll see what happens with that. From The Blaze, Hunter Biden's laptop reportedly reveals photos of then Vice President Joe Biden meeting with son's Mexican billionaire business associates. From Paul Saka. Another concerning accusation that Joe Biden had a cozy relationship with Hunter Biden's overseas business associates has surfaced. The latest allegation claims that Joe Biden, when he was vice president, had direct contact with his son's billionaire business associates from Mexico. Well, that's really not over a sea. According to content reportedly discovered on Hunter's laptop that was abandoned at a computer repair shop. Is that it? Is that all I get for this article? Oh no, there's a bunch more of this. It just for whatever reason scrolled me to the bottom. Since at least 2010, Hunter Biden's associates had been planning on working with Carlos Slim, who was the richest person in the world at the time. The plans for working with the richest person in the world were allegedly spotted in a company email from Rosemont Seneca, a consulting firm established by Hunter, Devon Archer, and Christopher Hines, who was the first stepson of the former U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry. The firm, founded in 2009, the same year Joe Biden was inaugurated as vice president. The Daily Mail reported that Rosemont Seneca staffer Neil Callahan aimed to get Carlos Slim on board in an email from October of 2010. I think once we get past the test beta phase of, say, 4 to 5 $250,000 projects, we target getting 5 to 8 clients who will pay us $1 million to $5 million annually. The staffer wrote, I don't think any of these clients will be your typical hedge fund. It's going to be private investors, i.e. Carlos Slim, SWF Select Corporations, Chevron AON, and maybe a mega hedge fund. In 2012, one of Hunter's friends who was working for the international government relations firm Blue Star Strategies reportedly suggested Slim as a potential buyer of a gambling company that Hunter was partnered with. According to a report from Politico published earlier this month, Blue Star Strategies is currently under Justice Department investigation for potential illegal lobbying and its dealings with Burisma, the Ukraine gas company that Hunter was a board member of. Hunter was also targeted by a different Mexican billionaire, Miguel Alemán Velasco, who is the son of former Mexican president Miguel Alemán Valdez. Hunter and Jeff Cooper, an attorney who worked with Hunter's late brother Beau, and reportedly donated hundreds of thousands of dollars to Biden political campaigns, reportedly devised a plan to invest in multiple businesses in Latin America. In an alleged email dated February 2013, Cooper expressed his excitement about the venture to Hunter. This is setting up to be a flippin' gigantic brother. In 2014, Hunter was reportedly able to secure a private meeting with then-President Joe Biden for Carlos Slim, Miguel Alemán Velasco, and Interjet Airlines CEO Miguel Alemán Magdani. Jesus Christ, how many people on this family are named Miguel Alemán, the grandson of the former Mexican president Miguel Alemán Valdez? And why do they all have different last names? Hunter allegedly emailed the White House photographer David Leineman to ask photographs for the Alemán family with then Vice President Joe Biden. Do you have pictures from the lunch I had in Dad's office, I think on 226, with Miguel Alemán Sr. and Jr. and Chef Cooper? If so, let me know, and I can send someone to pick them up, Hunter wrote to Leineman in 2014. In May of 2014, Cooper reportedly asked Hunter if he could get the picture signed for Mexican billionaires. Any luck in getting those other pics from the White House, Alemán visit, or getting a few signed for Miguel and his dad? So, yeah. This whole Joe didn't know anything, that's kind of falling apart here, but, there's no more mean tweets. Keep in mind, there's no more mean tweets. All right, we got just a few more here, then we'll do live chat, so let's power through the rest of this here. Black Lives Matter sues Santa Monica over protest curfews. No author given. Black Lives Matter LA is suing the city of Santa Monica and its former police chief for instituting curfew orders that allegedly violated the demonstrators' constitutional and civil rights during last year's protests over the killing of George Floyd. The lawsuit filed late Monday in LA federal court also alleges false arrest, assault, and battery on behalf of more than 300 people who contend they were shot with projectiles by Santa Monica Police Department officers targeted for arrest and transported to a makeshift jail before they were released in Los Angeles and warned they would be rearrested if they came back to Santa Monica. Messages seeking comment from Santa Monica's police department and city attorney's office were not immediately answered. Well, I mean, if you live in Santa Monica, then you've probably got a case, but I mean, if you're in there causing trouble and doing stuff like that, there's reason to believe that if you go back to Santa Monica, you're going to go back and cause some more trouble. Now, you can't be denied your personal property, but yeah, the officers do have to do a risk assessment of some of this, and there was violence going on in Los Angeles and Santa Monica too, so I don't know how far this is going to go. I mean, yes, if you have a grievance with the government, take it to the courts. Absolutely do so. I just don't know if this one's going to go very far. It's worth a try. It's worth watching. But I think it's dead in the water. From Fox. Bill Cosby ruling should be used to free Ghislaine Maxwell, her lawyer says. From Louis Cassiano. The lawyer for British socialite Ghislaine Maxwell, an alleged madam for deceased financier Jeffrey Epstein, said the case against her should be thrown out and she should be freed on the same grounds used to free Bill Cosby, which stems from a sweetheart deal given Epstein more than a decade ago. Yeah, but he dead. And you can't redeem his deal. Cosby was released from prison on Wednesday when his sexual assault conviction was overturned after the Pennsylvania Supreme Court ruled the persecutor who brought the case was bound by his predecessor's agreement not to charge him. She should have not had to fight her case at trial, and her case should be thrown out, just like Cosby's has been, because prosecutors promised Epstein, when he pleaded guilty, that they would not prosecute her, Maxwell's appellate lawyer, David Oscar Marcus, wrote in a New York Daily News op-ed published on Wednesday. I don't know if that's going to fly. That actually might fly, because that was a part of the deal. If that actually was a part of Epstein's deal, that they wouldn't touch her. But I don't think that's going to fly. Now that he's dead, I think she is fair game. Now, if she had made the sweetheart deal and made a confession in a civil suit, that confession in the civil suit wouldn't be able to use in the criminal suit. That's how that would work. I don't think this is going to fly. I don't think this is going to work for her. But, yeah. Surprisingly enough, we're not hearing a lot of stories out of her. And, yeah. John McAfee killed himself before Ghislaine Maxwell did. Except he didn't kill herself. All right, from the New York Post. Another cache of Ghislaine Maxwell files to be released in mid-July from Ben Pureherd. Yet another trove of secret Ghislaine Maxwell files will be unsealed later this month. A federal judge ruled on Thursday, which means some of the girls turned 18. The documents, which were filed in the Manhattan federal suit brought against Maxwell by Jeffrey Epstein accuser Virginia Roberts Giuffre in 2015, will be released in mid-July, Judge Loretta Preska ordered during a telephone hearing. It is unclear what will be included in the latest dump, but the documents that were previously made public in the case revealed salacious allegations made by a number of Epstein accusers. In a deposition by Giuffre that was unsealed in July of last year, she detailed constant orgies that Maxwell and Epstein engaged in on his private island in the Caribbean. There is just a blur of so many girls, Giuffre told attorneys in the 2015 deposition. There were blondes, there were brunettes, there were redheads. They were all beautiful girls. I would say the ages ranged between 15 and 21, she said, adding that she 100% witnessed Maxwell having sex with other women there. The island was a place where orgies were a constant thing that took place, and again, it's impossible to know how many, Giuffre said. Maxwell is awaiting criminal trial for allegedly procuring underage girls for Epstein to abuse in the 90s and early 2000s. She has been ordered detained pending trial and is locked up at the Metro Detention Center in Brooklyn. She has pleaded not guilty and has appealed 5 times to be released from jail pending trial, but has been rejected each time. They are not letting her go because they are not letting her get out of this country or off herself, and she's got the money to do so. So, well, I'm kind of looking forward to seeing what is going to be in the files. From CNN. Something I know that everybody in my audience cares deeply about. Are you ready? Meghan McCain announces that she's leaving The View. By the way, if you're lurking right now, get those last minute messages in because we've got this one and then 4 more after this. And then it's live chat time. It's your time. So I want to see what it is you guys have to say. And tell a friend and tell 10 friends as well to pop in here and come and hang out because the more names we get in here, the more fun we can have at the end. From Oliver Darcy. Meghan McCain, the conservative personality who repeatedly ignited controversy and clashed with her colleagues on and off set, announced Thursday that she will leave her role as co-host of ABC's The View. I'm just going to rip the Band-Aid off, McCain said at the top of the show. I'm here to tell all of you, my wonderful cohorts and viewers at home, this is going to be my last season here at The View. McCain said it was not an easy decision, that she will be with The View until its current season ends at the end of the month. On a professional note, the show is one of the hands-down greatest, most exhilarating, most wonderful privileges of my entire life. It's 4 women who used to be relevant that are bitching about politics. Exhilarating. After announcing her decision, McCain's co-host praised her. Whoopi Goldberg said it had been wonderful to have her as a colleague on the show. Behar, who McCain repeatedly battled with on the program, said she was a formidable opponent and no snowflake. McCain indicated that her decision was motivated by her desire to remain in D.C. area near her family after giving birth to a daughter in late 2020. But McCain had also previously mulled leaving the daytime talk show. CNN reported in the summer of 19 that McCain, feeling dejected and sabotaged by her colleagues at ABC, was seriously thinking about departing the show. Bye! Bye! Go away! But, of course, because it's Meghan McCain, The Hill has to come out and suggest 7 conservative women who could replace Meghan McCain on The View. From Jody Kurtz. With Meghan McCain out at The View, I'm guessing the guessing game is on for who will take her place as the lone conservative on the daytime talk show. The author and daughter of the late Senator War Pig John McCain, War Pig, Arizona, announced Thursday she's stepping down as one of the co-hosts of the ABC series. Saying the commie coof forced her to examine the way that I want to live my life to look, McCain, who joined the show in 2017, told viewers the choice to depart at the end of the month was not an easy decision. Lobbyist? Who wants to put money on lobbyist? Lobbyist. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm thinking it's going to be. While she praised the long-running chat fest on Thursday, McCain said in past interviews she often felt like the sacrificial Republican among the View panelists. No shit. It's anyone's guess who might earn a seat at the View table ahead of its 25th season, but here are a few women who might be floated. S.E. Cupp, the host of CNN's S.E. Cupp Unfiltered. Cupp is a veteran of TV political commentary. She has experienced auditioning for the role. Cupp 42 was one of several guest co-hosts back in 2014 when The View was going through another panelist shuffle. The anti-Trump Republican could have at least one prominent advocate in her corner if she has any interest in the gig. McCain is one of her close friends. Megyn Kelly. No. Jebediah Bila, Elizabeth Hasselbeck, or Abby Huntsman. I don't know who any of those people are. The easiest move for ABC could prove to be a blast from the past. Bila, Hasselbeck, and Huntsman all have experience as former View co-hosts. Bila, 42, could be available for a return to her old stomping ground. She parted ways with Fox News and stepped down as its Fox and Friends weekend host in May. Another Fox and Friends alum, Hasselbeck, is no stranger to periodic visits to The View. Hasselbeck, 44, has popped up on the show from time to time. Since leaving at 13, she took heat during her appearance in 2020 when she said, "I'm not going to let coronavirus rule me." Huntsman, 35, left her dream job at The View in 2020 to help run her father, John Huntsman, and his failed Utah gubernatorial bid. Last month, Huntsman told people of her exit, "This last year has been a lot of healing and a lot of asking myself and thinking things back and wondering, did you make the mistake? Did you handle this right or that right?" And lastly, oh, no, there's more. Kellyanne Conway. Please, God, no. Please, no. Never going to happen anyway. She's a Trump person. Candace Owens. Please, God, no. No. Please, God, no. Never going to happen. She's a Trump person. And that's it. That's the last one. It's Candace Owens. But if you happen to say something against Candace Owens, then she will dox you and tell everybody where you live and make people go and harass you. I don't care for Candace Owens. I don't know if anybody knows that or not. All right, from the Daily Mail. Number 10 scientists at war over jabbing kids. Vaccine advisor claims letting children catch COVID is safer than giving them the jab, but top SAGE member says curbs should remain until under 18s are immunized. From Eleanor Harding, education editor for Daily Mail, and Joe Davies for Mail Online. A row erupted today among number 10's experts over whether Britain should vaccinate children against the pinko fucking pox. One of the government's top vaccine advisors has claimed that letting youngsters catch COVID could actually be safer than giving them the jab. Professor Robert Dingwall, who sits on the Joint Committee on Vaccination and Immunization, says that children are at vanquishingly small risk of COVID, whereas in very rare cases, the vaccines have been linked to blood clots and heart issues, mostly in young people. The argument for vaccinating children is that it will lower infection rates and therefore protect adults. But Professor Dingwall urged for people not to panic about infection rates. He said, COVID was no longer a significant cause of death and science should not aim to deliver immortality. I thought that was like the basis of science is we're trying to find the fountain of youth and the fountain of immortality. It's called being saved through Jesus Christ. His comments come in reaction to SAGE advisor calling for all children to be vaccinated before the restrictions in schools are lifted, despite hospitalizations and deaths remaining flat in the face of rising case numbers. So, yeah, they're going to come out and say, oh, you know, it's much safer for kids to get the commie coof, which it probably is. This didn't really do anything to kids. It mostly took care of people who were immunocompromised. So, with the exception of a few heavily diabetic children, this really wasn't a big deal. But they keep trying to say that it's a deal. All right, just a couple more. From Reuters, exclusive, YouTube takes down Xinjiang videos, forcing rights group to seek alternative. Have you heard of BitChute? Or Odyssey? Or Rumble, if you'd like Dan Bongino's stupid project? Hey, you have alternatives. Just so you know. From Victoria Waldersee and Paresh Dave. A human rights group that attracted millions of views on YouTube to testimonies from people who say their families have disappeared in Xinjiang is moving its videos to a little-known service, Odyssey, after some were taken down by the Google-owned streaming giant, two sources told Reuters. The group, credited by international organizations like Human Rights Watch for drawing attention to human rights violations in Xinjiang, has come under fire from Kazakh authorities since its founding in 2017. Serikjan Bilash, a Xinjiang-born Kazakh activist who co-founded the channel, has been arrested multiple times for his activism, said government advisors told him 5 years ago to stop using the word genocide to describe the situation in Xinjiang, an order he assumed came from pressure from China's government on Kazakhstan. They're just facts, Bilash said to Reuters in a phone interview, referring to the content of Atajurt's videos. The people giving testimonies are talking about their loved ones. Yes, you should be off mainline tech. And now I do see every once in a while I get a couple people coming in on YouTube, and I share the YouTube out when I go out and share things out over on Twitter. That's the word I was looking for. I do share the YouTube out, but for the most part, you guys have moved off of YouTube, which I think is good. It's for me basically over. It's become a part. It's something for the boomer tech, like my parents to go back and watch on. But yeah, no, we're not going to be. We're not going to be coming out and doing the major stuff on YouTube anymore. I'm never going to grow on YouTube again. It's not going to happen. I'm going to stay sub 300 on YouTube, but my Twitch is growing. My Twitch is always growing. My DLive is still growing. So we're growing on the other platforms. It's just YouTube is gone. It's done. It's toast. Get on alt tech. Alt tech is cool. All right, and the last one from the Daily Wire. Radioactive boar-pig hybrids emerge from Fukushima disaster site, according to study. Researchers at Fukushima, the site of the 2011 nuclear disaster in Japan, have found that a new mutant species of radioactive boar-pig has emerged from the wasteland. Oh, this sounds like Fallout. No death clause. Please, no death clause. According to a new study that investigated the impact of nuclear disasters on the local habitat, the high levels of radiation had no adverse effects on the genetics of the animals. However, the wild boars, Sus scrofa locomystax, have proliferated in the area after being left to roam freely from the lack of humans. The Daily Mail reported the boars have bred with domestic pigs, Sus scrofa domesticus, that escaped from the nearby properties after farmers had to flee, creating a new hybrid species. The study's been led by Donovan Anderson, a researcher at Fukushima University in Japan, who has been driving through the land exclusion zone around Fukushima nuclear reactor. The Daily Mail explained for the study, Anderson colleagues analyzed the DNA samples from muscles of 243 wild boars, pigs, and boar-pig hybrids taken from local slaughterhouses. According to the study, 31 wild boars were hybrid, representing 16% of the wild boar from that region. We show evidence of successful hybridization between pigs and native wild boar in the area, Anderson said, and his colleagues announced we recommend that future studies assess the fitness of these hybrids and better characterize their ecological niche. Anderson also noted that the crossbreeding has nothing to do with radiation, even though the boar pigs are radioactive. Really? You think it has nothing to do with the radiation? Interesting. Interesting. I don't know. We'll play Fallout in real life. I hope I get ghoulified. Because I want to walk around for eternity calling all the rest of you fuckers smooth skin. Okay? Why are you watching me even? Yeah, my hair started falling out. Did that a little bit already. Because I'm pushing 40. Alright, that's all the news that I have. And, well, we're going to finish out the day looking at live chat. because, well, this is going to be an interesting one to say the least. But yeah, let's see what's going on there. So let's bring this back up to the top, and we missed some of the stuff off to the top. Let me go and see if I can catch it from the YouTube side. I don't think I'm going to be able to, though. Yeah, we're not going to be able to scroll back that far. All right, that just means that you guys are saying way too much stuff. So starting back up here, from as far back as we can go, we've got Quest Fanning over here, so we're 2/3 of the way there. I still think our economy isn't out of the woods with this administration's foolish policies. Ron Helton says, yet steak is through the roof. Sully Blue is here. It says they're really bragging about a few cents for food on a holiday, and they don't even want us to celebrate. Okay. Quest says, too bad we can't afford to drive to the store. You know what? I almost forgot to read from the notebook, you guys. You guys can't let me do that, can you? All right, let's start with the notebook here. And we'll mark our place here where Quest Fanning said. I do have a question I caught from Chilaga too, but I'll make sure to answer that before we go. On Monday, we had R Volt, Sully Blue, Ron Helton was here, Random Randy, 8 was here, and Chilaga. On Tuesday, we had Ron Helton, Striker Phase, Your Main Simp, Vampire Hunter D was here. That's a cool name, by the way. I saw you guys were going back and forth with that yesterday. Chilaga 1984, Sully Blue, Where We Go On, We Go All came in and followed, by the way, as well. Ron Helton says, national average, our prices are all up here in the area. Government does nothing but make things worse. Seriously, people need to wake the hell up. Chilaga says, so they're trying to prove inflation isn't happening. But the chocolate chip has gone up, says Quest Fanning. Ron says, now they want a global corporate tax to steal even more money from us. Who pays those taxes? They're passed on to the consumer, we the people, and government, or be destroyed. That'll get us caught up while I finish up here. Wednesday, we also had MK Ultra Bear and Sergeant Peterson on Tuesday. Wednesday, we had Random Randy was here, Sully Blue was here, Cosbox, that was a new name, Chilaga 1984 and R Volt. Yesterday, we had the return of Quest Fanning. Vampire Hunter D was here. You guys were busy yesterday, by the way. Chilaga 1984, Sully Blue was here. Nephilim of Nibiru, Ron Helton came in and hung out with us. Fractal Dust, who I haven't seen for quite a while, was here. And Mr. Moto. Plus, on Wednesday, we also had Boulder Vaughn sat in and watched us almost the entire show on the Instagram side. So, go Boulder Vaughn. Continuing on where we left off over in the chat here, we had Chilaga 1984 says, F these parasites, F them. The Nightbot is here. Quest Fanning says, chocolate chip Joe. Sully Blue says, gas is around $2.99 right now in Central Florida. What a time to have a Hemi. Fuck my life. Didn't you have a diesel at one point, I thought, when I was down there? What happened to that? And I mean, I've got a Coyote, so I'm in the same fucking boat. At least I get 22 miles to the gallon if I'm really, really light on it. But still, yeah. Yeah, I understand having a gas. That was one of the things when I went over to see what they'd give me for my truck, is I asked the woman if there's any way that she can get me into a 250 with a 6.7 for the same monthly payment as I'm paying now. And she kind of laughed at me. Chilaga says, how did the appraiser ding the tailpipe? I don't know, but it's broken. And I'm going to get a new one, which, I mean, it was probably a week before because it is 7 years old in Wisconsin. I understand that. But it was just fine when I went in there, and now it's just kind of dangling. And I've got a band clamp to hold in place while I go on vacation. And then after that, we'll actually go put a regular tailpipe on there. But he must have knocked something on it. And it does have the extender because it's got the chrome package. So it's got that nice big chrome extender pipe on the back of it, which I think he might have just accidentally popped something with. So, yeah. Broken tailpipe. Fun time. Sully says that's what I was thinking. Maybe threw a rock up from a tire or backed into something. Yeah, it might have backed into something. Although, you know, he's got the sonar in the back too. because I've got the rear parking aid. No, it was a dude. Must have been a woman. No, it was a dude. I'll admit my 2019 Ram is the first truck with a camera that comes in handy with parking or hooking up trailers. Yeah, I don't like using the camera though. Well, the first generation Ford cameras too had a problem with if it got excessively hot, they didn't like to work. So I'm just used to not using the thing. But yeah, CDL, driving truck. I'm just used to using the side mirrors. I barely use the center mirror for anything. Chilaga says, I have the camera, but I still turn my head around. I don't even do that. I just use the mirrors. Celia does that out of habit. Manamana says, I think I've been banned from every commie stream now. Mission accomplished. Nice. Final one was an Aussie jerk. Chilaga says, speaking of Aussies, where's Mad Cow Mark? I don't know. He was pretty sick for a while, so I don't know if he is just not feeling well or the worst came to worst. Somebody should reach out to him and just make sure that everything's okay. Chilaga says, maybe he's on holiday. Sully says he's probably off fighting 4 of the 5 most dangerous reptiles. Chilaga says, or boxing a kangaroo. We have a regular that lives in Australia. Yeah, Mad Cow Mark. Chilaga says 35 to vote. Ron says, no, it's not a privilege to vote, and it's not changing the corruption by voting. The Empire's too wicked to save now. I think Ron took the black pill. Mana says, only free white land owners. Women voters are the worst. Chilaga can't disagree with Ron either. It's a beautiful morning in the Midwest, 62 right now. I think it's a little bit warmer here because it's starting to feel a little bit warm inside. I have to turn the air off to do the show because otherwise the air conditioner is pointing right at the mic here. Just rub it in, Chilaga. Manas says, I don't know Fahrenheit, but it never dips below 20 C here. Far North Queensland, says Manamana. Very hot, tropical. You watch F1? Pardon my kangaroo joke at Mad Cow Mark's expense. F1 is cool. I need to get more into it. I've never really done open wheel stuff. I've never really paid attention to that. I was always closed wheel, but yeah, I stopped doing NASCAR just because it got boring. I'd be interested in open wheel. I love autosports. Sully is a Red Bull fan, but it's all fun. Banana says, where do you live? Too close to Chicago. Yeah, I live too close to Chicago. I've heard food in Chicago is amazing, though. I gotta get down there at some point and get an actual deep dish pizza because since I left Kenosha, we don't get those around here anymore. And I'm kind of mad about it because I want a deep dish pizza, you guys, in the worst way. It's kind of like New York City. You can find almost anything. Madison is like that too, except you can't find a deep dish pizza there either. Oh, there's one place, actually, that does it okay. Pelosi's best film was They Live. They all look like Pelosi. Chilaga says, yep, I'm pretty sure Chuck U. Schumer's married to a dude. Show us a They Live Pelosi clip. I don't know. I'll have to go find one. Chat read at the end should be fun. Nice and spicy. Yep. Did you hear that Ashley Babbitt was shot by Pence's security detail? I have not. I would have to get a green check verified confirmation of that. Get her done. Kind of predictable, Trunk. She was outside. It was on film. I've seen it. A blonde pretty lady is an enemy of the commie devils. Sully says, didn't a climate change protest group just block off doors at the White House? I believe I want to say 20 or so arrested. Yes, that was the AOC-led one. Why aren't we doing this with music? Let's do this with music, you guys. I think that'd be cool. But you don't hear about that one. I heard about it. Vampire Hunter says 16 years to get only 1.7 million. Yeah. DT should publicly thank them for exposing Weisselberg theft. Yeah, except they wouldn't cover it. That's the only thing. Other than that, yeah, I think they should. Mana says, I'm glad I found you. It's a Friday night. I have nothing, and I have to do nothing. I love it. Sully says, so crazy we can all sit here from all over and be so far away sometimes. Yeah. Ron says, that should be the responsibility of the condo board, not the taxpayers. Where's the personal accountability in this country? In the crapper. It's in the rubble pile. That's it. Buildings just fall now. Thanks, Biden. If Elsa hits that building, Florida, that building is done. Yep. Taxation without representation. This will be a trend. Spartan gave me some emojis that I can't see. Let me scroll back and see what I can see here. Looks like a beer and a Pepe. Thank you. Hold Dems accountable for supporting extremist groups like BLM, Antifa, lawsuits. Now you just gotta do it yourself. Joe Biden's too cool to follow the law. He loves them kids, man. Come on, man. Those Sonnies. I think Sully's complimenting my point on where if they start to rigorously enforce the federal law on immigration, they have to do it for gun laws in Missouri and for pot laws around the country, which I am nervous about that. Ron Helton said they keep their mom's maiden name and dad's family names. Camouflage. Yep. Constant orgies. Ghislaine won't be touched. She's in the club. Her dad was a baddie. Yeah, it's a big club and you're not in it. Chilaga says, Manaz, is your first time here? I thought I've seen you here before. Manaz says, I've seen you 20 times, Jill Gaya. It's Neff. It's always Neff. Gay lords. So many gay lords. Arvold says, I like Megyn Kelly, but she's not a conservative. Of course, was McCain. Okay, so I don't think you should put another person on there. Just disband the show. It sucks. It gets horrible ratings, and it does nothing but get mocked by people like me. Okay, never mind. You should keep it continued. Put Harris Faulkner on there. That'd be a good one. Gay lords. Sully says, I don't see a real conservative ever being on that show. I heard Candace started her career fixing rightists. I don't know, maybe. Doxing. Yeah, doxing rightists. Yeah, anybody who didn't agree with her 100% got doxed. Ron says, doesn't matter to me who's on the skewed view. Don't watch that garbage anyway. Cackling hens. Neff says, let's Twitch raid Steven. We will be doing that in just a few moments. So if you guys are on Twitch, stick around because we're gonna hit the raid button there in just a second. And he says that pig looks like me. And I might have more hair than the pig at this point. I'm sorry, the same head posture and all. Yeah? Sully says, try making self-cooking bacon. That sounds awful, by the way. Mana says, dude, sorry I was making fun. Ron says, the immune system has a function. It cannot function properly if you're constantly being jabbed. Neff says, books are racist. That sounds awful. Self-cooking bacon. It's like microwave bacon, which I've seen people do. Oh, Mana is not Neff? I thought he was. Never mind. But he called me Chilgea. Who is Neff? I don't know. Oh, I was confused. Sorry. Sorry, Mana. I thought you were one of my friends. But you can be one of my friends. You can still come and hang out. By the way, the Discord is in the description if you guys want to come and hang out. Always in the description. And when we do a call-in show, we do that right from the Discord as well. So hop in the Discord and then you can come in and get your voice heard on the air. I mean, I wouldn't miss Greaseburn from cooking it. Blasphemy. Spartan says he's reading his active good communist list today. Shalog says, what's up, Vampire Hunter D? Happy Friday. Hey, Sparty. Sully07. MK Ultra is my bro. MK Ultra's cool. I like MK Ultra. He always hits the like button on my Instagram videos too, so he's cool. I like that. Because it helps promote that back for the Explore page. Which if the rest of you guys are following the Instagram, if you guys wouldn't mind doing that every once in a while, it helps me get up on the Explore page and helps other people find me. You don't have to watch the whole video because most of you watched it here, but if you're scrolling through and you see the video, just hit the little heart button and it helps me overcome the algorithm over there. Banana says, bro, this reading English is triggering me. Oh, Sally says, I did. Needed a full 4-door, so sold it and got a crew cab. I don't like crew cabs. I know eventually at some point, some girl will probably marry me and I'll have a family, but yeah, I don't like crew cabs. I never have. I've been an extended cab guy my entire life. Coyote V8, nice, yep. 302 cubic inches. Manal says broken tailpipe, hum, yeah. Yeah, I'm pissed about that. I'm sore about that. I don't like that. I get sore when my tailpipe is broken. Do with that information what you will. Quest says Ron is the black pill. Chillag says Ron is more consistent than Dave Smith. I've never listened to Dave Smith, so I can't opine on that. And then I got corrected on Mana because he's not Neff, but Mana called me Chilgea, who is Neff. That's why I thought that's who it was. Because I thought he was using one of his many usernames. So that's my bad. I apologize for that. Quest says, it gets confusing. I'm always just me. And Chilaga will get the last word. Says that Neff has all of these other usernames. Alright, let's switch up the song and get out of here. So, well, happy Friday, everybody. Thanks for a good week. Thanks for a great week of reading the news. It was a little slow this week, but, you know, you guys are all here. You all came out, and we had a great chat read today. And I always enjoy your chat reads anyway, just going back and seeing what you guys say. I do read every single chat at the end of the show. Every day. Before I go to work, I sit down and read all your chats. So, I mean, I know what you guys are saying. I know what you guys want to see. And hopefully next week I'll be in here hassling you guys. So, undecided on a Saturday show yet. I might do another one here for you guys just because I'm going away for a week. But otherwise, I'll be back here on Monday for more contemporary and the Red Net show for Monday. I don't know if it'll be RRC is possibly going to be guest co-hosting, or Elaine might come back too. So we'll discuss with each other as we go on, but that'll be coming up here next week. I will be back here on Monday for contemporary. But on Tuesday, you'll be seeing Jessica Green. It looks like Tuesday will be Jessica Green. Wednesday will be Seawall, 728. Thursday will be Stephen Ignoramus. And Friday will be John from the Generational Gap will be hosting the show while I go out and go fishing. So definitely thrilled about that. That's going to be a good time. And I need it. I really do. But regardless, while I'm out on the boat, we'll be looking in here. And I'll have my chat up and I'll hassle you guys too. Because, you know, you guys will miss me if I'm gone completely. So definitely looking forward to that. Although Tuesday I probably won't because I'll probably be driving while Jessica's on the air. So yeah, absolutely. Come back and hang out with me and all my friends next week. Otherwise, yeah, we'll be back here full time the week after for more contemporary and more of the Red Net show. Until then, I'm Jay Edgar, and this is Contemporary. Those of you on Twitch, stick around, and we are going to go raid my friend Stephen Ignoramus. So come and hang out, and we will see you next time. Take care.